Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about change. And this really comes from last week, I believe Thursday. I had an appointment with my barber, and we had a conversation like we've never had before. And generally it was me talking for the most part, but it was more than just, I don't know if I can call it general barber shop talk, because I generally don't talk. When I'm getting my hair cut, I kind of like try to keep myself from falling asleep. But anyway, generally it's just, normal stuff. Hey, what have you been up to? What's new? How's the dog? How's the house? How's the family? Blah, blah, blah. Same stuff, right? But this time, the conversation went kind of deep, and I can say deep for that person. It's not deep for me, because I talk about this stuff all the time. But we had a conversation about his life, and and when I say I was doing most of the talking, I was actually telling him about his life, because I could see I can tell what has taken place in his past, and why his present is what it is. I was able to tell him that, and he was kind of taken aback as to how accurate I was. And the only reason why that is because I have an understanding as to why people experience the things that they experience. And that's it. And that's generally what I do. I try to help people in that way, to help them see something that they're not willing to see, or help them see something that they are unwilling to see, so that they can make the change themselves. But anyway, out of all that, we had established that there is a lot of doubt within him, and there are a lot of things that he wants to do. And so at the end, he was like, well, how do you change that? And so that's what I want to talk about. How do you change? How do you change from being in a place where you're doubtful and you feel you can't do certain things? You feel like life is not going to change. It's always going to be like this. It's always going to be the same. You work hard for nothing. Basically, you try to do this and you try to do that. You try to accomplish this. You try to attain that. And just for the world to show you that you can't have it. And basically, it's your soul showing you that you can't have it. And that's what I tried to explain to him, is it's your soul that's dictating everything. There isn't anything that, the universe is responding to other than your soul. It's not responding to your mind, because your mind wants a whole bunch of different grand, wonderful things. Your mind is what can conjure up all of these wonderful ideas. But it's the soul that says you can't have these ideas. But that's not to say you can't have these ideas that you have. You can have anything you want. We just have to understand why we're prevented from having those things. Hold on to your dreams. Hold on to the visions that you have. Hold on to the ideas that you had when you were a kid. Hold on to the things that used to make you happy, because those things will most likely still make you happy if they are in love, if they are a pure desire. So don't let go of those. Hold on to those. They're still there, even if you can't remember them. They are still there. But one of the things we have to do is stop looking at what we have created. That's part of the problem. When we were children, we didn't have any. We had many ideas. We had many visions in our mind. We used our imagination. We created things. We played. Some people played imaginary things outside. Little girls played house, and they used their imagination. Guys play with their little action figures, and they use their imagination. And great. So don't get rid of those. The thing is, they're still there. That's what I was going to say. So we have to hold on to this idea, or I should say, we need to get back to this idea where we use our imagination, when we use our creativity. See, that's what I was going to say. So when we were a child, we didn't have any preconceived idea as to how the world is. It was all new to us, and we wanted to experience different things. We wanted to explore and discover. There are things we wanted to do when we got older. I mean, I remember being a kid. I remember wanting to drive. I've always wanted to drive. I can't wait till I get bigger so I can drive. Now I just love driving. I like doing it all the time. Like, driving does not bother me. I could drive all day long and be absolutely okay with it because it's freeing for me. But that's just who I am. So when we're growing up, like I said, we don't have any understanding as to the troubles that other people are experiencing. We don't have any concept as to the destructive creations that the world has created. All we have is our imagination, and they're positive. Generally, kids don't have destructive imaginations until something like that is introduced to them. Love is generally the thing that is coming from the child, because they have not yet been tainted by the reality that other people have created for themselves. And so this is what was going on with my barber. Is he has created a reality based on the reality that his parents have created, that his family members who are older have created. Their anger, what they have, because this guy has a huge heart, just a total loving being. Like, that's just who he is. Like, if you met him, his demeanor is so welcoming. It's very understanding, very compassionate. There isn't a great deal of mean energy within him. There's anger, but anger comes from pain denied. That doesn't mean that this person is a mean person. It just means that this person has a lot of pain that they're suppressing. And so I was able to look at this and understand, how this is how I was able to tell the things that he has experienced, because of what he's experiencing now and the character of who he is. The truth, the true person, the true soul of him, I could see. And they don't match up. His loving, caring, compassionate ways, way of being, does not line up to what he's experiencing. And this is how I know. There's something out of alignment here. And so that tells me that even though this is who he is, he has allowed someone else to define who he is. And that's who he believes himself to be. But I see something completely different. I don't see a mean, angry person. I see a compassionate, understanding, loving person. That's who I see. That's exactly who I see, because that's who he is. And I can see this in most people. I can't say all people, because some people have so much darkness, I don't see that anymore. All I see is a person wanting to harm or hurt another, tear down and destroy them. I mean, I can see who a person is in terms of, I can see the potential of them being something other than who they are in the moment. But I mean, there's always goodness within someone, because there's never a sense of, there's never a lack of there's never zero love within a soul. Ever. There's always a spark of love within the soul, even in the pits of hells, the depths of hells. Each soul in the pits or depths of hell have love within their soul. If they didn't, they would not exist. It is the energy of love that keeps everything alive. So even if you're alive and you're in the pits of hell, there's love within you. And it's that spark that a celestial being can help a demon see. They can say, hey, you are this, you are that, you are capable. And they can come out of that space. But that means they're developing the love that's already within them. They just have to foster it. It's like a seedling. It's just like a seed. The seed is still there. The potential for that seed to grow is always there. And that's how the soul is. So it doesn't matter how broken or how hurt or how pained you are. There is always something within you that has the chance and the opportunity to grow. You just have to foster it. Which goes back to the topic that I'm talking about. Change. If you want to change, if you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want to have a different experience than the one that you are experiencing, you have to foster that which dwells within you. That love you need to foster. You need to grow it. It's called self-love. You have to care for yourself. And how do you care for yourself? You tell yourself the truth. Because the truth is the foundation of all love. Without truth, love could not be. It could not be. Without the foundation, the plant cannot grow. You need the foundation of truth. You need the foundation of absolute. And so the absolute truth is, you are a powerful being. That's the truth. But you cannot be that until you acknowledge that's who you are. You cannot. You have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge the truth. And the thing is, when you're depressed and you're feeling down, you don't feel that way. And I was having a conversation with someone on Facebook, and they said they just love how I see things logically and I just put things together. And my response to her was, I have to be logical because my emotional state is compromised. I cannot depend on my emotions in this moment because they are compromised. So I have to be logical about it. I have to use my mind, since it's my mind that allowed myself to get into this place. I have to use it as the powerhouse in the moment to see certain things, to see the truth of things, to establish a new truth, establish the truth. Since I allowed myself to be compromised through accepting untruths, I have to accept truths. I have to establish what the truth really is. So if someone says that I'm not able, they say you can't do that. The truth is, I am able and I can do that. That is the absolute truth, because the Creator created only perfect beings. A perfect being who is capable of any and everything with development. But that comes through our free will, our choice. So again, we have to choose to be loving. We have to choose to be different. That's how the change is going to come about. You cannot experience something different if you keep doing the same thing that causes you to feel less than, that causes you to have doubt, that causes you to feel unworthy. You have to change those things. So when you tell yourself it's hard, I can't do it, I'm scared, I'm afraid, you have to stop that. You have to say, let's do it. Let's just do it. Without any ties to outcome, because it's the tie to outcome that disappoints you and keeps you in this state. I don't know what you're doing. It keeps you in this state of not being able to fulfill your desires and have your visions come to manifest. The whole goal of living is to manifest. And we're manifesting every day. Every single day we're manifesting. But it's the energy that we use which causes us to manifest what we are experiencing in the moment. So, if you're broke or you're on welfare, understand that the energy you have within you is manifesting this reality for yourself. If you want to start a business and you're working at a job, understand that it is your current energy that is causing you to be in the job instead of running your own business. If you're overweight and you want to be thin, understand it's your energy that you're putting into yourself that's creating this body that you have. If you're sick and you want to be well, understand that it's the current energy that you have that's manifesting your health currently. And this is what we have to be mindful of. We are manifesting every single moment. There is never a time that we are not manifesting. Never a time when we are not manifesting. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. It's impossible. The Creator created it that way. If you sit in your house every day all week and you only go out on the weekend to buy food, understand that's your manifestation. You're putting your energy into sitting at home, doing nothing all week, and then going to the store on the weekend to buy food. that is your manifestation. Until you do something different, it will remain the same. And it's the energy that you're putting into yourself. All energy is the same. All energy is the same. And it may not seem that way. You may say, oh, well, no, it doesn't take much energy to sit on the couch. But for some, it takes a lot of energy for someone to sit on the couch. It's all the same energy. The only difference is you're comfortable with that energy and it doesn't feel like you're expelling anything, but you are. And the thing is, from time to time, you'll feel the discomfort of the energy that you're putting into yourself. And the energy is not an energy of well-being. It's an energy of stagnation. That's what you're putting into yourself, stagnation. You can have more than that if you should desire it. If you desire it, all you have to do is do it. But it's that thing in your mind that says, I can't, I'm too tired, I'm this, I'm that, I am. And those are some powerful words. I am. I am tired. I am stressed. I am overworked. I am overwhelmed. I am broke. I am suffering. I am poor. Trust me. These words that you speak, even if you don't speak them aloud, are your manifesting words. They give energy, or I should say, they form the energy that you have to create. We all have energy to create, but it's what we use to form that energy. I am. I am what? I am healthy. I am thin. I am successful. I am wealthy. I am fine. I am whatever it is. I am happy. I am content. I am whatever it is. These are the forming, I should say, these are the, how would I say, I'm coming up with a couple of things, but it's not really what I want to say. These are the, I don't want to say words, we know that they're words. I'm going to pause it for a minute. Okay, these are the molds that we use to form the energy that we have. So, we use this mold to create whatever it is that we want to create. I am whatever. How many times have you heard people complain? Trust me, if they're complaining, it's because they're creating a reality that they don't like. And they don't understand how or why it's happening. A person who complains will have more to complain about. A person who complains will have more to complain about. That's fact. And we have to be mindful of these people who we surround ourselves with. We can't surround ourselves with people who don't care about themselves. Because if we do that, we accept the lack of well-being for oneself. We have to remove, that's what I mean by change. We have to change. So if you surround yourself by people who are constantly telling you negative things, then you will accept that. You will accept that as reality. Because most of us are so used to letting others define our reality. When it comes to politics, when it comes to the president or whatever, I just walk away. Anyone who says anything about am I getting on the wrong? No. Anybody who says anything about President Trump, I unfollow on my Facebook, because I don't need to hear that. I don't have anything against the man. I didn't vote for him, but that doesn't mean I have to hate him. It doesn't mean I have to talk about him, his personal being. I don't have to talk about his family. I don't have to talk about anybody. So I leave that alone. I don't allow that to be part of my reality. The news, I don't watch the news anymore. And people say, oh, you have to know what's going on. Well, you know what's going on, because I know there's chaos out there. That I do know. But I don't have to make it part of my existence, part of my being. Do you know how people get so frustrated when they hear people talk on the news? Oh, blah, 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 rah, rah, rah. And that's the reality, defined by the news. The negative information that people are putting out there or talking about is defining the reality. And this is what I mean. You must change. I changed. I stopped doing that. I stopped allowing myself to be dictated to, basically. And that's what you have to do. Don't allow someone to dictate your reality. You can't be a powerful being when you're listening to those of the weak. That's not possible. How can you be strong? How can you be loving when you're constantly listening to unloving people complain about their unloving experience? You have to change. Even with your friends. Do you have friends who complain all the time? Because if you do, you start taking on that energy. And it takes, if you're not in a good place, it takes an effort to block that stuff out. But if you're blocking it out, what's the point in listening to them complain? Most people, if they complain all the time and you give them some type of advice or guidance and they want to keep doing the same thing, that should tell you that they have no desire to change. And so you're allowing them to bombard you with negative energy for no reason at all. It doesn't make any sense. I used to have people who complain every day. Their life was just a total mess. Just a total mess. Complain. And now they're not in my life anymore. They pulled away. That was the universe working, doing its thing. They pulled them away from me. Because in my soul, in my path, and as I spoke truth, they pulled away. As I did not accept their weakness. Because as someone is complaining about something, and you say, well, this is why this is happening, and they come back with, yeah, but. That tells you they are not in a place to change. And that and but is the one thing that it's like they're trying to get you to accept their weakness, their state of vulnerability. Not vulnerability, victimhood. Nobody is a victim unless you want to be a victim. And some people want to be a victim for all kinds of reasons. Some to get attention. Mainly that's it, to get attention. They want someone to say, oh, woe me, woe me, woe me. Or in this case, woe you, woe you, woe you. Well, if you want to give them that, you can give them that. But I can tell you this. That's energy you're taking on. And that energy that you're taking on will define who you are. So you have to stay in truth. You must reject all weakness. You can say, hey, I see what you're going through. This is what I see. This is how I feel you can fix it. You can either accept it or not. But what I cannot do is make your energy my energy. I cannot make your reality my reality. Because I see you're suffering and that looks like an awful experience. Seriously, that's what I see. I'm like, now, oh my gosh. Like back in the day, I didn't know any different. I didn't know any different at all. It was all because I was in the chaos. I was just as degraded as the other souls who were having the problems. So I didn't see it. But as I chose differently for myself, as I decided to change and be different than that which I was, it no longer resonated with me. The complaining? Nope. Now I don't, the thing is, there used to be a time when I used to look at my current reality and find all types of justifications as to why it is. It's this because either I'm black. It's this because I'm a guy. It's this because I'm whatever. It's this because I'm mixed. It's this because whatever. I used to find a justification for it and accept that as fact. And it was never the case. It was never the case. The truth is, what anybody has to say or do has nothing to do with me. But yet it has everything to do with me. So they're not saying it because of me, yet they're saying it because of me. And that sounds so strange to say. Meaning, it's not because they say it. They're just reflecting back what's within me. It's not because they say it coming from them. It's them simply reflecting me back to me. And so as I change my inner being, as I change my beliefs about myself, about the world, about other people, everything else started to change. My exterior changed. People interact with me differently. I don't get people condemning me anymore. That's one thing I've noticed. I do not get people condemning me anymore. People don't question me anymore. And that's because I don't question myself. I don't second guess myself. And so people don't second guess me. Now they come to me for answers. I was just thinking about this the other day, about how I've told you about my history in terms of work and things like that, and how working with my bosses was like a nightmare and just made my life miserable. And now they're nowhere to be found. Like it's like the program that I work for is like the managers have like completely abandoned us. Like they're just nowhere to be found. And at first I used to feel some kind of way about it. I was like, what's the point? They're not doing their job and blah, blah, blah. Again, justifying why things are the way that they are. And then it wasn't but maybe a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, it just hit me. It hit me. Well, let me give you a little more backstory on that. So, because they were absent, because they are people where you can't depend on them and they don't really want to do what they agreed to do. And, you say things like, some people say to themselves, I'm not going to do their job for them. I remember saying that. I'm not going to do their job for them. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But yet, the universe was responding to me in a way that allowed my desire to manifest. And I did not see it until maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. I have a strong desire to lead. I have a strong desire to help people. I have a strong desire to give people clarity. But I did not realize that the universe was allowing me to do just that. I did not see that. And it was only possible in their absence. Because if they were present and doing what I expected them to do, I wouldn't have been able to do what I enjoy doing. So when therapists have problems with their clients, they come to me. They say, hey, look, I'm having this problem with this client. What do you think I should do? Or they come in all frustrated, like really staff come in the door just frustrated, irritated, angry. And I help them understand. I go, first of all, this is why you're upset. You're tied to an outcome. You're working hard. You're working harder than the client. You want to see the client do X, Y, and Z, but the client doesn't want to do X, Y, and Z. And you feel that your client is... Sorry, hold on. I was distracted by this big truck trying to run me off the road. That was a little dramatic, but you know what I mean. you feel that your client's lack of progress is a reflection of you. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see it like that. You're so right. And all of a sudden, their whole energy changes. All the tension, it just like, and you can see just exhale. And that's what I love doing. And I've been able to do that. I've been able to do that with people on Facebook. I've been able to do that with people on the phone. I've been able to do that with people at work. It's just something that I desire. And I didn't see that the creator, that the universe was allowing this to manifest for me. But it took people not caring in order for me to step in and care. If I want to be a caring, loving, compassionate, understanding person, then there has to be a place for me to be that. And I had no idea that's what the universe was doing. All this time, I'm cursing out these people saying these raggedy no good, and they're the director, or they're the this, and they don't care about people. They don't care. They're just, basically stealing money, and meaning they're getting paid and not living up to the job that they agreed to do. Seriously. And then it hit me. It's like, I enjoy, like nobody's around. Supervisors aren't around. There are times, because I'm basically the only constant. There's one more, but when I say there's only myself in the office all day long. So no matter what, I'm always there, and they know that. They know when they come into the office, Zach is going to be there. Zach is there from 7 a.m. to 3:30, like clockwork. You need something, they can call me. You need something, you can come into the office. And I didn't realize that. But it was a desire within myself that made that manifest for me. I didn't do anything. I just simply desired it. That's all. And that's what I'm saying. Don't get rid of your desires. Don't get rid of your dreams. And understand, what I was experiencing beforehand, I was so miserable. I hated going to work. I hated it. I was like, oh, I have to deal with this person again. Oh, I have to see this person. I have to deal with them. And I would play these scenarios in my mind of how the day would go, and they were all negative scenarios, meaning they were all painful experiences that I was conjuring up in my mind. So even when the things weren't happening, I was putting stress on myself. I was stressing myself out. I was creating worry within my being, destroying my physical body. I look younger now than I did before, even though I was younger before than I am now, because of the energy within my being. I changed the energy within my being. And that's the change that I'm talking about. If you want to change, you have to change yourself. You have to change the energy within yourself. People want to wait for something to happen before they change. Some people can live in a little, how should I say, a little apartment or a studio. It could be a house. It could be a rundown, whatever. And they feel, oh, I can't live my best life while I'm living here. I need to move first in order to feel better. And you need to feel better before the external changes. But people try to make the external change before they make the internal change. And the internal change, if you want it to happen easier, so let me just say this. Yes, you can use your willpower to make things happen. But it takes so much more energy to make it happen in that way. It takes so much more energy to make it happen in that way. Ooh, you're flying. I need to get over. But if you allow yourself to change your energy within you, and all I'm saying is change your thoughts about things. Change your feelings about things. Change your thoughts towards things. Change your feelings towards things, towards people. Change it. If you feel like you don't have good positive relationships. Ooh, girl, lady. Jeez, she's driving too much too fast. If you feel you don't have positive relationships in your life, then desire positive relationships in your life. Feel how that is. What would that look like to you? What would that feel like to you? Visualize, feel it. Visualize and feel it. Visualize yourself being out on the beach with your friends, if that's what you desire. Visualize yourself hanging out at restaurants or going on vacation with friends. Visualize that and feel it. Feel how that feels. Don't focus on the painful things, the lack of positive relationships that you have. Don't focus on the unhealthy relationships that you have. That's keeping more of the same. That's keeping them there. But if you focus on positive relationships, if you focus on relationships where you're happy and the other people are happy, and you're sharing things about yourself and they're sharing things about yourself, that stuff has to come to manifest for you. It has to. It's law. That's how you command the universe to bring you what you desire. And before you know it, the people who are not supportive of you vanish. Either you move, they move, something happens, they go to jail, they get married, they go here, they go there. Something happens. Something always happens. Someone will pull them away and capture their attention. Therefore, they don't have any dark energy to put towards you. It just allow the universe to take care of it. There was this one guy at work, and he's trying to get an apartment somewhere, and he doesn't make enough money. You have to make, generally out here, you have to make 3 times the amount of rent in order to get a place. And there was this one place that he was dead set on, and his energy is kind of low. His vibration is low, not kind of, but it's low. It's fairly low. There's a lot of pessimism going on, a lot of complaining, and that's what I'm saying. You have to change. So it's like, man. And so he had asked me, like, check this out. He asked me, do I know how to make check stubs? I'm like, check stubs? And we're not great friends. We're not close co-workers. But he asked me, do you know how to make check stubs? He says, because you know how to do everything else, I know you know how to make check stubs. And I can probably make some check stubs, but I wouldn't make check stubs. Unless I have some real authentic employees. Other than that, you can't get me to do anything like that. But he asked me, straight up asked me, hey, do you know how to make check stubs? And the reason why he asked that is because he's desperate. His living situation is so whack right now. It's so unbearable for him. He wants to get out of where he's living. But the universe can only deliver the height of your love within yourself. Or it's just not the height, but the extent of love that you have within your being. That's the extent of your manifestation, is the love within yourself. Do you believe that you can have it? Do you truly believe that you can have it? If you believe that you can have it, you would have had it a long time ago. So if you don't have it, that's because you have a belief within you that you're not worthy of it, or you can't have it for whatever reason. You have to find out what that reason is exactly. So anyway, he asked me, he goes, yeah, but I go, well, that's, there's some places out there where they only ask 2 times the amount of rent. He goes, yeah, but this place is like really nice, and I want it. And I'm thinking, yeah, you may want it, but I'm thinking to myself, can your soul deliver that to you? And so I kept it positive. I said, look, there are tons of places out there. You just have a lot of resistance in you right now. Now, I'm not saying you can't have that, but there's a possibility that you can have something even better than that. But you have to release the resistance that you have within your being. Because the worry about not being... The worry that one has The worry that one has within themselves keeps the resistance going, meaning it keeps that which you desire from being a part of your reality. And that's what I told him. I said, let God handle it. I go, put it in God's hands. Meaning, allow your desire to be what your desire is, but don't try to force it to happen this only way, this one way. Allow the universe the freedom to bring whatever it can bring you the way that it can bring it to you. If you're dead set on only having this apartment, then you can't have all the 100 different ways that the universe can bring you an apartment. Even this apartment. If you're dead set on this and you have resistance about getting it, you've already blocked yourself from it. And you've blocked the universe from delivering anything similar to you. So we have to change. We have to let go of the doubt. We have to let go of this feeling that we can't. And start having the feeling and the belief that we can. Because we can have any and everything we want. And I can prove that by showing you all of the rich people who have all the things they have. Whether it's Warren Buffett, whether it's some other rich person, it doesn't matter. They are all proof that you can have whatever it is that you desire. And Tiger Woods just won some Masters thing. I'm not really sure what that is because I don't follow golf, but all I know is it's a big deal. And this old video when he was like a teenager, he was saying he wants to win the Masters. And here he is winning the Masters. It was a childhood dream. So whatever your childhood dreams were, allow them, they're still there, like I said, but allow them to come forth. Allow them to come forth and be part of your creative energy in this moment. It was part of your creative energy in the past, but of course, as a child, there's certain things that you can't have as a child, because like driving, there's certain things like that where I wanted to drive as a child, but that couldn't happen as a child. But I started driving at the age of 12. I was driving at the age of 12. Like 14 years old, driving by myself. Never got pulled over. That's pretty big when I think about it. It wasn't a big deal because I was enjoying it in the moment. But I was safe. I wasn't reckless. I abide by the rules. I read the DMV book when I was young. So I knew the rules of the road. And it's why I'm such a good driver today. Like, I can drive with speed or without speed, but I can maneuver a car very well. My reflexes are great. I can look at someone and predict what they're going to do before they even do it. It's just part of who I am, part of my being. But it's always been a desire of mine. 12 years old, just thinking about driving in our old car, you know, it's crazy. Going to the store, going here, going there. You know, and sometimes I was driving my mom around, but still I was driving from the age of 12. To me, that's pretty big now. It wasn't back then, but it's huge now. When I see how quickly I manifested that. When I was a kid and I was like, what? Preschool, I think? My mother had a stick shift. I was looking at the direction of the gears. I was looking at everything she did when she pushed the clutch, when she, pressed on the gas, when she let off. All of that. Even riding on the school bus, I would watch the driver do the gears because they had a manual transmission in the bus too. And I was looking at all of it. And I was like, I know how to do it. And so it was so easy for me to get in the car and it just felt so natural. But it's just another childhood manifestation that happened. And now, on my spare time, I drive to make money. That's what I do. Because I enjoy it. I love getting in the car and doing it. Just the childhood dream, a childhood vision, a childhood desire. And I'm doing it at 40 something years old. I don't feel it's work. I don't feel like, oh, I have to go somewhere. I don't want to get in the car and go. Look, every time I start up the engine, it's a beautiful thing to me. But anyway, change. We have to change, and I have to where the universe is bringing me a different physical manifestation. It has to. It is law. It has to bring you a change. It has to bring you something different. It cannot remain the same if you change. It cannot. That's why you see people who get out of the hood, who grew up in a poor family, and now there's always this one person in the family who does better than everyone else. And then there's the other people who are just poor and sad and accepting their limitations like everyone else. But there's always that one person, at least one person who gets out. It doesn't matter if they're working at McDonald's and everybody else is on welfare. There's one person who does something different because they don't accept the reality. They don't accept mom sitting on the couch watching soap operas all day waiting for the check to come in the mail. They don't allow themselves to be that which they come from. And that's how you should be. Don't allow yourself to be that which you come from if it is not benefiting your well-being. We have to change that if we want to change. That's what I'm saying. If you want change, you have to change. Change will yield change in some way, shape, or form. And you decide how that is and what that is. Hold on a second. So yeah, I was saying you decide what that is. And that's the beautiful thing about being an individual soul. That's the beautiful thing about God's creation of the soul and how God created the universe. You are in charge of yourself. Nobody else is in charge. Any suffering that you incur or experience, any karma that you incur or any experience that you experience that is a painful one, not a joyful one, it's because you decided that for yourself. You decide your reality. You decide how you want your life to be. And we have to get away of the fear that we hold about being ridiculed. Whatever your visions are, they're your visions. They're not someone else's visions. And someone else, anyone who laughs at you or laughs at your desires, it's because they don't have any of their own. Because I guarantee you, those who have desires for themselves will not condemn or ridicule you for having your own. Because they understand, they come from a place. They come from a place where they are honoring their desires. And they know the value, they know the benefit of what that is. But anyone who condemns you for your visions, for your desires, for your willingness to change, it's because they don't hold the same that you hold. They don't know. They're fearful of moving forward with their desires. And so if they laugh at you, you'll stop. And you don't have to show them that they aren't doing anything with their lives. And this is one thing I have realized, and it's very clear. People will try to tear you down so that you do not move forward, so that you do not move up, so you do not progress. Because once you do that and they see you moving into a better space, having a better life, having a better experience, they are forced to look at themselves and their inability and lack of desire, lack of energy, lack of action to do something for themselves that they want to do for themselves, or they would like to see happen in their life. That's the only reason why they laugh at you and try to tear you down, because they don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to look at their pain. They don't want to look at their lack of motivation. They don't want to look at their current circumstances. So they don't have to look at them if they're sitting right alongside you and you're not doing anything with your life either. So you have to change. And that means you're going to have to feel something from other people that's not going to be positive. It's going to feel hurtful. It's going to reinforce what's within your soul is what it's going to do. And I shouldn't say reinforce. It's going to trigger the things that are within your soul, because look, this is how it works. When you decide to do something for yourself, when all along you haven't been doing anything for yourself at all, understand that the time that you lived your life and you haven't done anything for yourself, and you've just sat there and you let life pass you by, and all of your desires have just gone up in smoke, as soon as you decide to do something for yourself, you start to trigger the things that are within your soul. So when you start to go to school and someone says, oh, you're not going to be anything, you're just going to waste a lot of money, you're not going to get a job, no one's hiring out there, understand that what they're saying is because of the things that are within your soul. Because you're using your manpower, your willpower, to do something, to take action, but that doesn't mean you've changed the contents within your soul. So understand that you're going to get pushback, but the pushback is really the contents that are within your soul. So as you use your willpower to move forward, it's like a rubber band. As you stretch the rubber band, let's just say, the rubber band's attached to a pole, and then it's wrapped around you and you're walking and the rubber band is stretching. You're using your willpower, but your soul is also trying to put you back to match your soul condition. But understand, as you get the pushback, as you get the mean comments, the degrading comments, the condemnation, as you get that, it's supposed to trigger something within your soul. Because the universe is saying, I see you moving forward with your willpower. I see you doing something, but in order to sustain that, we're going to have to get your soul up to par with where you're moving towards with your physical action. That's what's happening. So you get triggered, you release, and then it's like the pole moves. You don't move, the pole moves. And so the tension that was created is lessened. And now your soul, and I guess you can look at it like that. Look at the pole as being your soul. If you can imagine this. Imagine your soul being the pole. It is where it is based on all the things that are within it. And your mind is saying, I want to start a business. I want to go to school. I want to do this with myself. I want to manifest this. I want to manifest that. And you start moving towards, meaning using your willpower, using your physical actions to do things. And you're moving. Your mind is moving. And you're feeling resistance. People telling you can't do it. It's not going to work. Nobody's hiring. The price of the market isn't good for that right now. You should wait. You're getting all these comments that are not in support of what your physical actions are. As you feel the pain of that, release it. And that allows your soul to move towards where your mind is. And now there's not much resistance. And you can move about freely. And you move some more. And you'll get more resistance. And you'll get people condemning you. And you release that. And the soul moves towards where the mind is. And that's how it happens. And then and before you know it, your mind and your soul are in alignment with one another. And you can manifest without having to release anything. You move faster. You progress faster. You manifest faster, easier, without effort at all. Now you don't have to use so much action because your soul is so free and has so much room to move about. And there isn't anything blocking the universe from responding. Now all you have to do is think about it and it happens. All you have to do is think about it and it happens. All you have to do is think about it and it happens. All you have to do is think about it and it happens. Because your thought is in alignment with your soul. The universe is responding to the soul. It's a desire and it just happens. It happens. For those who are degraded, meaning they have a lot of emotional injuries, it takes a while for manifestations to happen. It takes a while for manifestations to happen. But as you release the things from your soul, and your soul's not weighed down, when you think of something and feel about something, it happens immediately. It happens faster and faster. And some people, Oprah's one of them. And she said it, I can manifest things within days. Whereas it took her a long time. It took her years and then months to manifest something. But now she can manifest something easily because her soul condition is in a different place. And that's for every single soul. So don't get discouraged if it takes a long time in the beginning. That's just part of the process. You have a lot of junk in your soul. And it takes a lot to carry all that junk around. So yeah, the universe may be able to bring you those things. But understand that the universe has to drag all that junk that's in your soul, and it's a heavy soul. So as your soul becomes lighter, it moves faster, moves quicker, it's more agile. And it's the same thing here on Earth. If you have a trailer with a bunch of stuff on it, it's going to take more effort and longer for it to move. But if you have, it's kind of like look at a big rig and look at a smart car. The big rig has more power, indeed, but it's carrying so much stuff. Even if it's empty, it's just so big and massive. It just has so much, and the inertia keeps it from moving fast. But with the little smart car, which has a fraction of power, can move freely. It's more agile, and that's the way the soul works. So just keep that in mind. If you want to change, there's a lot of things that have to change. And the first thing that has to change is your view on you changing. Your perception about change has to change, because it's the one thing that's keeping you from moving from where you are right now. You have to get rid of the anchor and allow yourself to float. Before you even learn how to turn on the engine and move to where you want to move, you're going to have to let the anchor up so that you can float. At least you're moving somewhere. Move somewhere. And then as you become more familiar with your ship, as you become more familiar with your being, you'll finally get around to how to start the engine. It's like being on a yacht. You know, if I were to get on a yacht right now, I wouldn't know how to make that thing move. But one thing I do know how to do is pull the anchor up so that I can float somewhere. I can get away from my safety net. I can get away from the dock and just float. Allow myself to slowly discover and explore. And as I slowly discover and explore, I become more familiar with discovery and exploration. I feel more comfortable. I become more comfortable. I feel more able. I feel like I can actually move now. This is a good feeling to move and explore things rather than being tied to the dock. And as I become more familiar with it, I'm like, okay, this is fun. Now I need to find out how to get this boat moving. How do I turn it on? Because I watched that show Below Deck. And when they pan, you know, the camera pans, you know, to the, I don't know if they call it the dash or the panel of the yacht, and all these buttons and screens are all over the place. Look, I couldn't tell you how to move that boat. But as you become more familiar with it and you start exploring and messing around with things or playing around with things, you stumble upon things. You're like, oh, that's what that does. Okay, and before you know it, you start those engines up and you're on your way. And that's how it happens, people. That's how it happens. So explore yourself, get to know yourself. Don't be afraid of leaving the dock, because the people who are on the dock are afraid to leave the dock. And you have to be different. That's what you have to change. You have to be different. All right, everybody, you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye now.